Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into today's video. We're going to have a look at the weather next week to 10 days. For today's video, it's going to take us to the 16th of the month. It's 16th of April, so that's Easter Sunday. And tonight, of course, we're going to have the third Easter update. That will be with you around 7 o'clock this evening on the Easter updates page. That'll cover the full period in detail from the start of Easter to the end. So we're going to have a look at weather next week to 10 days in a moment. But before I get on with that, just say about the competition, because I've been telling you over the past week or so that we've got a competition coming up at Gaz Weather Vids. We're going to start it on Sunday and we're going to run it for a week. So the final day of the competition will actually be on Easter Sunday, Sunday 16th of April. That's when our winner will be announced. I promised you yesterday that we had a little sneak peek at the prize that we're giving away. So we're teaming up with metcheck.co.uk weather instrumentation. This is their website. Just here, you can get to metcheck.co.uk weather instrumentation via the Gaz Weather Vids links page. So you can buy whatever item you want from Metcheck. But we are giving away a prize. I'm going to show you that prize right now. So this is what we're going to be giving away this year in terms of Gaz Weather Vids prize giveaway. So this is the Climate Night Fishing Moon Phase clock. This clock will tell you the phases of the moon from the full cycle of the moon, from the new moon right way through to the full moon, and then back again into the start of the next lunar moon cycle. So it's worth £39.50, but it can actually be a very bespoke item, be personalised. I'll tell you more about all of that on Sunday when we launch competition. Also on Sunday you'll find out how you can win this prize. But that's what we're giving away this year. Anyway, fantastic prize. Big thanks to metcheck.co.uk weather instrumentation for giving us its prize to give away to you. As I say, on Sunday you'll find how you can win the moon clock. So more about that on Sunday morning. Right, let's get on with today's video. You're going to have a look at weather next week to 10 days, and starting off with 500 millibar height anomaly flow charts for the next week to 10 days. We've got the ECMWF here on the top, and the GFS, we'll have a look at that in a moment, is on the bottom. 500 millibars, 8,000 feet, is an area in the atmosphere where high pressure, low pressure, being drowned by the jet stream running above. Red extrapolates to high pressure, blue to low pressure. So the ECMWF for the next week to 10 days is placing a ridge out to our west-northwest and a trough to our east. So the jet stream is doing something rather like that. It implies that things are turning cooler and more changeable there as we're running through up to the east period. As I say, this takes us to day 10, which is the 16th of April, Easter Sunday. It implies things are turning cooler and more changeable, especially so for the north and the eastern part of the country. The GFS, and this is just here, very similar. Again, we've got this trough to our northeast. We've got the ridge out to the west. It's possibly a little flatter, so more of a flow from off the Atlantic, so perhaps not quite as cool there, but nevertheless it is fairly changeable, especially so for the north. It implies quite a changeable Easter coming up. Of course, for the south, we're close to this ridge just here, so probably a lot of dry weather coming up then, but certainly for the north it does look significantly more changeable. These are the GFS temperature and precipitation ensembles the next couple of weeks. Same idea really as the past few updates. The red line is the 30 temperature average. Going to be lots of warm weather coming up for the rest of this week into the weekend. We could be seeing temperatures down to around 21, 22, possibly 23 degrees, can't be ruled out on Sunday down in the southeast. So it's going to be very, very warm for the weekend. But into next week, you find those temperatures cooling down. And then, as running up into the middle part of April, and then in the second half month, that period just there, looks like the temperatures really are going back to average. So nothing desperately cold coming up, but certainly cooler. And compared to how warm it's been for the first sort of 10 days of April, I think that will be quite a significant change. So cooler really as we go through the middle part of the month. Precipitation looks like this. Lots and lots of dry weather over the next few days into weekend, just about the start of next week. Through next week, it looks like it's turning gradually more unsettled. Let's say more showery, really. There's no sign of anything desperately wet coming up there by any means, but it looks like it's heading towards Easter. That's the 15th of April just there. Looks like as we go heading towards Easter, we're probably turning things a little bit more unsettled, certainly more showery as opposed to the completely dry conditions that we see at the start of the chart. Precipitation, temperature anomaly, I should say, for the next week. It's taking us from the 6th through to 14th of April. Comes out about average, not a huge deviation at all. Maybe a little bit on the milder side, perhaps. But overall, not really deviating too far from average with temperatures. Precipitation looks very significantly drier than average, except in the far north and northwest Scotland. A little bit wetter than average there, but most places coming out drier than average. I would expect these are going to turn or trend a little bit more unsettled over the next few days. GFS for Monday then, we're beginning to pull down those cooler winds from the northwest on Monday. This high pressure begins to push out to our west. So, going to be very warm over the weekend. Start of next week turns cooler from the northwest. Running to the middle part of next week, it looks quite unsettled there, especially for the north. The south is still close to this ridge. So always dry down in the south, but certainly for the north, it does look a lot more unsettled through the middle part of next week. Then running up to Easter, this takes us to Good Friday. It's all looking rather slack, but we've still got that ridge generally centred out to our west. Otherwise, just bringing in a showery and probably quite cool northwesterly wind there on Good Friday, and then into the Easter weekend. Actually, this very latest run of the GFS, this is the 6 o'clock run. This is pulling down quite a chilly northerly wind, actually, by Easter Sunday. So that would potentially bring some wintry showers up to the north for Easter Sunday, and maybe some night frost as well. Possibly it's a bit over the top. We will be looking in detail at the Easter weekend this evening. But up to date, GFS is turning things cooler, even colder from the north. East MDF finally got the ridge out to west side of next week, bringing down that cooler northwesterly flow. A lot of dry weather still in with that, but the middle of next week is turning more unsettled, especially so for the northern part of the country, where it looks quite unsettled indeed. Probably quite a bit of rain coming in with that. I would suspect the south still just about hanging on to dry conditions. The main thing will be the cooler temperatures, because the flow is coming in from the northern Atlantic, so nothing particularly warm showing up there. Into the running up to the Easter period, into the second half of next week, we find that, again, the heights are pulling out to our north and west, allowing the winds to turn into the north. So that's not quite the northerly that we see with the GFS, but nevertheless, looks pretty chilly as we're heading to the end of next week. And then over the Easter weekend, this takes us to Easter Sunday. East NDF is keeping this high pressure centred over the UK. So a lot of dry weather, a lot of useful weather for the Easter weekend with the ECM WF. But the problem would be the temperatures. They would be a bit chilly, especially so at night, where you wouldn't be ruling out the chance of certainly ground frost, possibly even some air frost as well. So that's how it's looking. If you like warm weather, I'd make the most of the weekend, where it is going to turn very warm for the time of year, because I think next week it's looking quite a lot cooler. A lot of dry weather, I think, next week down in the south and southwest, but in the north it will turn more unsettled. Then we've got the question marks about Easter. Are we going to get this northerly that GFS wants to produce, or it's just going to be a coolish ridge and keeping it mostly dry and settled over Easter? We'll have the third Easter update coming up tonight. Right, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.